And we're back with day 2 of getting back into shape after an extended break. So we're gonna head right into it. We've got our mirror, trusty mirror, and we also have our time timer. Today's session is gonna be 20 minutes. Now, before I started, I wanna give you a game plan. My thought for the game plan was today, and then in the morning, I'm gonna work on my foundation for 20 minutes. And when I come back later on in the day for 20 minutes, I will come back and use that foundation that I have to do other things. So it's establishing the foundation in the morning and then coming back and using that foundation for other music to help ourselves get back. But starting off with 20 minutes, and here we go. So I'm all set, put it on my stand. I'm gonna start off with a little bit of mouthpiece shapes. I feel pretty comfortable, but I'm going to go ahead and start off that way as we did yesterday. Starting low, going up and coming back down. Now. Again. And again. A little higher. And again. And one more. I can already tell there's a little bit of stiffness, but that's all right. We're going to deal with it and work with it, and I'll plan as working out some of that stiffness as I play. But we'll start off with our middle F as I did yesterday. And here we go, just air attack on a middle F. Good. Now, we're going to start off with that exercise that I actually usually do when I warm up. It's that glissando, F to E to F to E glissando, and then we do it again with a tongue, So it sounds like first. And with tongue. So let's go ahead and do that together. And here we go. Ready? And go. Continue with my 10-minute warm-up. Now, I'm only going to start us. In this video, you're going to see me start, and then you're going to see me end my 10-minute warm-up where I feel empty. I'll get us started, and then I'll cut to the end. Insert your own 10-minute warm-up. If you want to start off the way I do, that's great, but you do your own. We'll kind of a warm-up video in another opportunity, but right now, this is all about running through that 20 minutes. So here I go with just getting started with my 10-minute warm-up. As you'll see, I've got about 6 minutes left, And I'm going to set the clock back, but I wanted to take a moment to explain. As I do my warm-up, I am less interested in the result and more interested in the process. I am process-oriented rather than result-oriented. And I'm very comfortable with my warm-up because I'm not pushing myself. I'm allowing myself to ease into the upper register and then back down. And as I do these slurs, as I worked on yesterday, and I had a challenge with, my challenge was to keep myself stable here. My challenge in my long slurs and my warm-up is to keep myself stable. And if the connections aren't exactly what I'm after, or exactly really beautiful, clear, slotted connections, I'm fine with that, because what I'm after here is the stability and the smoothness. And I'll get that advancement of that skill in a later practice session. So, as I mentioned, I had 6 minutes left. I'm setting my timer back to 6 minutes. And I definitely feel stiff after yesterday's work. One of the things that really helps me with that is flexibility, or moving around, allowing my aperture to go. Big picture, my aperture going from larger to smaller to larger to smaller to larger to smaller. We're just going to do a simple scale in octaves, legato octaves. Excuse me. And starting off in E major, playing it in octaves, legato. And go ahead and breathe at the fifth note. Here we go. And then the arpeggio down. I like to get that upper octave, that 2-octave slur. All right, F major, and ah. Next, G5 major, and oh. Continue. And next one, A5 major, and oh. Particularly on the octaves as I'm going up and down. Really focusing on being stable and smooth through here. Whatever happens in the middle, happens in the middle. All right, continue on. A major. And, now B5 major. And, for my own benefit, I'm going to keep going up a couple more scales. I'm going to take on B major. If you don't feel like doing B, go ahead on to the next section. We only have 2 minutes left, but I'm going to keep going with this. B major. 1. Lastly, C major. I'm not going to take that last breath in between the arpeggio. I don't think I need that. C major. And, feels good. Hey, why not? Let's keep going. One more. D5 major. And go. Lastly, to D major. And, all right. And my 20 minutes is up. A few brief comments. I don't shy away from the upper register. I don't believe I'm going to hurt myself, and I don't believe you'll hurt yourself by going in the upper register if it's done in a constructive manner. If you're forcing yourself up, if you're really pushing and really leaning into these notes, yeah, you could hurt yourself. But doing so in a way that's relaxed, that I'm allowing the aperture to contract and dilate in a way that's not pushy, but that's floating, I think that's a really constructive way, not only of getting up there, but of getting back into shape. Because we're not going to approach that, we're not going to get better in the upper register and feel more comfortable by avoiding it. Approaching it with a constructive mindset is one of the ways to take it head on in a really positive way. All right, the video continues with my next session today. All right, welcome back to part 2 of today's practice session, day 2 in our getting back in shape. So for today, we're gonna need obviously our mirror and our timer as we have. We're gonna need 2 other things that I decided to incorporate in today's session. We're gonna need, first of all, Albert Marsteller's Basic Routines. If you don't have this book, it's such a great book to have. We're gonna be using part 3 in the flexibility section, or I'm gonna be using part 3 in the flexibility section. I hope you'll do it along with me. And the other thing that I'm going to use, and I'm very particular about this one, these Chimera 55 phrasing studies. And I'll get into why I'm using those at another point, but at least for now, we'll phrase it. I'll just say that I think these are both really great materials for what we're trying to do here. So I've got my instrument, I've got my timer, I'm going to set myself up, 20 minutes. Here we go. I've got no room on my stand, so I'm going to have to put it actually, maybe I can get some room on my stand. Let me see if I can fit it up here without things falling off. Hey, there I go. Good, I can keep track of it. 20 minutes on, well, 20 minutes, actually, let me make sure I get all the way to 20, and here we go. So I'm gonna start off today and encourage you to start off today with whatever your noodle is. And if you're wondering what is a noodle, the noodle is that little thing that we do that's just our own. So many of us have our own noodle, the way we like to start. I'm gonna start off with mine. Just to get my face in the horn. Okay. Now that I've done that, you can do your own. I'm building off what I did earlier today, which is, I feel stiff, I'm feeling a little less stiff. And these Marstellers, the flexibility exercises, I mentioned it before, of going more dilated to more contracted with our aperture, is really helpful to me for getting things loosened up. And so that's what I'm going to do with some of these Marstellers. Not too fast. For me, I choose a tempo around here, where I can focus on the shape of going up and down. I'm not after perfection, once again. I'm after the shape and I'm after ease. So this is Marsteller number 1. 1, 2, and. And I'll go ahead and do one more. Go on to number 2. 1, 2, and. Okay, good. Now, I noticed a little bit of bounciness in what I did. Not a lot. I'm not too concerned about the bounciness. If it's there, I'm aware of it and I say, I saw it. Maybe next iterations, I'll see if I can do a little bit less. I'm not trying to make major changes, just have an awareness. That's what the mirror is really helpful for. And I'm gonna go over Chimera. Now, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna play certainly 1, maybe a 2nd, maybe a 3rd, and I'm gonna do as many as I would like until I feel like, yeah, I'm not sure. I might start feeling a little stiff. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do some flexibility things. But I'm gonna start off with Chimera number 1, and depending on how many I do, I may go ahead and cut and I may go ahead and continue. But if you wanna start off with me, that's fine. So let's take Chimera number 1. 76 is around 1, 2, 3, 4. Round that tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, out. Let's see, 132. 1, 2, dun, 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 dun. There's 120, so a little quicker than young 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, M. Got a few things, little mishaps, they happen. But I'm wondering, as I play this, those mishaps, are they happening because of something I'm doing here structurally? So I'm gonna go play the same thing, but this time I'm going to observe in the mirror what I'm doing, and I'm gonna take the tempo down a little bit intentionally and just observe and see, what's going on? Is there anything that I'm doing that's contributing to this? So a little bit slower, this time watching the mirror. I'm going to look at one phrase, memorize it, and here we go. Oh, 1, 2, 3, now. Okay, that was fine. And the next one. And 1, 2. Okay, now the next one. And 1, 2. And the last one. 1, 2, 3, now. Okay, that feels a lot more comfortable. I'm not sure if I changed anything visually. I really can't tell if anything was different. I can tell there was a difference in how it felt, a little bit in how it felt, and certainly in how it sounded. Okay, I'm going to do it again at the same tempo, this time just watching the mirror the whole time. 1, 2, 3, now. Since I've done that much, I'll go ahead and do the rest at the same tempo. I like what's happening. I like the connections. I like that things feel smooth and they sound smooth. So I'm just going to continue. Look at the music, but then look at the mirror. 1, 2, 3, down. Okay, good. I had intended to go straight through and just play. I decided to stop along the way because I wasn't happy with what I got. Would it have been wrong for me to go straight through and just keep going? No, it wouldn't have. Was it wrong for me to stop and to make a little correction and work on that as I'm getting into shape? No, that's not wrong either. Each possibility has a purpose, and it all depends on what you want it to do. I wanted to correct. Now I'm going to go straight through. And no matter what, now that I've done some correcting, now I'm going to keep going, not looking in the mirror, but trying to keep the same kind of gist of connections. And back at tempo. 1, 2, down. Good. Now, I've been playing for a little bit. I've got less than 10 minutes left. I want to do some more flexibility stuff because I know that helps loosen me up. So I'm going to continue on with number 3 in our Marsteller book. So going back to Marsteller, number 3. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, down. Ran out of air. Let's do that one again. A 1, 2. All right, and number 4. A 1, a 2, a 1, and... All right, and now I'm going to continue with number 5, which, if I'm not mistaken, I remember what number 5 is. I'm still here. Oh, I turned 2 pages. Yeah, it was number 5. What I do with number 5 is it calls for 3 iterations. I actually do 6, so 3 full bars. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, and... And then number 6. A 1, a 2, a 1, and a. All right, so I'm actually feeling pretty good now. I'm going to go back to Chimera. I'm going to do number 3 here. A 1, a 2, a 1. Let's see, 92. 1, 2, 1, 2, now. Keep going with number 4. 1. Let's see, 144. That's around here. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, and... Let's go ahead and do one more. Number 5. 1, 2, let's see, 92. So C major. 92. 1, 2, 1, 2, now. definitely starting to feel fatigue in my corners here. They're not wanting to hold, and that's okay. That's completely normal second day in. I'm actually pretty pleased with how things are going second day in. Am I ready for playing performances? Probably not yet, but I am better off than I had expected to be. All right, so we're going to continue on with a little bit of Marsteller. I just continue out with a little Marsteller. So we did number 6. We'll go ahead and do number 7. So I'll do number 7. Hopefully you'll do number 7 with me. The tempo I take for number 7 is actually pretty brisk. And more like slow 16th notes, or if it would be in cut time. 1, 2, 1, 2, out. Okay, now we'll continue with number 8. 1, 2, out. That's going to be happening to me. All right. I am almost out of time here. So I do, however, want to give myself a chance to get into the upper register. So I'm just going to play B flat major scale, diatonic, ascending, chromatic, descending. Same thing, B major scale, ascending and descending. I know the timer went off, let's just do this one scale. And, Okay, all right, this practice session is done. I certainly feel a whole lot better now than I did at the beginning of yesterday. And let's go through what we did today. Now, today we did some more slow slurs. I allowed myself to expand down, to go slowly as I went through my slurs. And actually, I warmed up this morning. I did my regular warm-up, but in my warm-up, I allowed myself to be imperfect. You heard a little bit of that, but I was really focused on the engagement here and whether I had the kind of firmness that I was after, the kind of, if not firmness, the kind of stability. There is going to be motion. There is going to be movement. Is it a bouncing movement? Is it a smooth movement? If it's smooth, then I'm doing what I need to. If it's bouncing, then I'm doing more than I need to. That's what I was after. Obviously, in this evening session, what we spent our time on was starting to play music. Now, the reason why I chose Chimera is specifically because they are short and I'm out of shape. And for me to be fatigued at the end but still playing well is where I want to be. I will get to the point that I'll push myself in later sessions and later days where I'm having trouble, and that's okay. But for today, I wanted myself to have to be getting the sound quality that I want, and these short chimeras are a great way to do that. That, coupled with the flexibility, puts me in a good position to get rid of some of the stiffness that'll happen when we don't work out. If you've never run before and then you start running, well, you're going to be stiff. If you have been a runner and you take a break and you go back to it, you will be stiff. And that's where we are, is we are people. I'm someone who practices a lot, and then when I take a break, when I come back, I'm going to be stiff. I want to work with that stiffness and allow it to alleviate before I really start pushing myself. Tomorrow, things are going to start to get interesting, because tomorrow is when we start to push ourselves a little bit more. We've gotten through our first 2 days. The sessions become longer, 30 minutes each time. Come back tomorrow and see what we do. Thanks for joining me.